Hello everyone and welcome to another car exposed video. So today we have a 2011 Mercedes A Class engine light on. Let me start the engine here. So as you can see there, the engine light is on there, and brake arrest warning as well. And the story of this car, this girl had this vehicle for about 8-9 months, and she bought the car with the engine light on and also the fans running at all times, so you can hear it. Alright, so the fans running at all times. I don't think it runs when the ignition is on, so I wouldn't have thought there would be an ECU issue or anything, or wiring. Now, another thing that she mentioned, now she had the car tires replaced. I don't know if it's the front or rear, but now we have ESP light on as well. So I'm just gonna take the car for a drive here on the lane, see if I can get the ESP light to come on. Seatbelt on the lane here. Okay, let's see if we can get this ESP light to come on. Still nothing. To get a little bit more speed. Well, hopefully this light's gonna come on. It's gonna be one of those. Oh, there you go. ESP inoperative and the brake wear, and then obviously get the triangle warning there as well. So ESP. Alright, so I don't know if it's gonna be difficult to hear the fan running, but I'm going to turn the engine off now and then you're going to be able to hear it. And I don't think when you have the ignition on it comes on. There's nothing on here, no air conditioning, nothing. So that's what we have today. Let me start the engine again. As you can see, obviously, because we haven't driven the car, we haven't got the ESP light on. Alright, let's scan the car, see what happens. I don't even know how this phone is still going after 8 months going like this on at all times, but obviously fault confirmed. We scanned the car, so I've scanned all modules. We do have a fault here for the ECU. Let's see what we get. So read codes. The upper limit value of component B19.9 temperature sensor upstream of the diesel particulate filter GPF has been exceeded. So that's stored in current 11D700. Let's just see live data here quickly. GPF filter. So temperature has exceeded. Whoa, there we go. 1200 degrees. That's a bit hot for a car that's cold. I mean, this car, I literally just started this car and I know everything's cold. That is incorrect. B19/9. Right, so I'm gonna take a picture of that. Pressure. So upstream temperature says 63 degrees. I believe that's going to be the cats, most likely. So temperature says upstream turbo, right? Okay. So the cut's there 52 degrees. Downstream. Engine temperature sensor 36 degrees. So literally just started this thing. Right, so at least we have some directions now for this. I suppose gonna be our engine light on, and thinking about it, very likely to keep the fan running. If you see that sort of temperature, I'm not sure 100%, but hopefully fixing that GPF temperature, exceeded temperature, will fix that fan running at all times, because with the ignitions on, it's not running. ESP, one fault. Let's see what it says. Read codes. Fault in internal communication between the control module, N47-5 ESP control module, and components B2415. Rates, lateral and longitudinal accelerator sets is stored as well. Alright, so a current communication fault. Is stored Mulan 5A EB. Now let's have a look at it. Our figures here. Live data, power supply switches, ESP sensors, perhaps. Brake pressure, good. Steering angle sensors, good. Lateral acceleration. That's definitely changing. That's definitely changing. Rotation speed. Is that our yaw sensor here? Yeah, it is. Right, perhaps I should drive it forward and backwards just to see if that changes. Let me open the doors again. Yeah, that's definitely working. And we have the triangle ABS, ESP, because I'm in a module, aren't I? So that's why the light is on. Now, both of our lateral and yaw sensor is good. Everything's good here, as far as I can see. Brake pads, brake wear indicator on. Okay. Tire pressure loss, RPM sensor. Let's try that as well. Yeah, that's working. Alright, so that's working. Now switches. Stop lamp. Yeah. Brake fluid indicator off. Parking brake on. Yes, good. Power supply. Okay, so power supply return pump. And I'll put the engine on again. Apologies, I'm not screen recording this. I probably should, because it's gonna be very shaky. But that's interesting. Power supply, I don't know if that would influence anything, but obviously it helps if I put the ignition on, doesn't it? But we don't have a power supply. Return pump 059, so probably a good thing to check there. We do have figures from our sensors, and obviously the module can see that. So first, I think I'm gonna go for the upstream temperature sensor for the GPF. See if I can fix that, see what the problem is. if it's wiring, sensors, or the actual module, and hopefully fix that engine light that's been on for 8 or 9 months, and hopefully fix the fan as well. And then I will check for powers and grounds for our ABS pump, and hopefully that is the plan. Hopefully we fix this car. Right, let's check that sensor, the temperature sensor. Underneath the car, here we have our GPF filter. Found the temperature sensor, the Upstream. There's only one temperature sensor here. Don't know if there's anything at the bottom there. I'm not sure, but that is before the DPF there. And we have another pressure sensor before the DPF. I have another one after. This is the plug for our temperature sensor. So with this connection, I'm hoping that figure of 1200 degrees that changes. Let's see what happens. Right, so that's unplugged. Let's see. Oh, no change. Still 1200 degrees. Do you have a problem with the wiring? I was actually expecting to go negative around -40, and no change whatsoever. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me focus. There you go, still 1200 degrees. All right, let's measure the resistance on this temperature sensor. Okay, what resistance do we have? Right, so we have a open circuit basically. And I don't know the resistance for this sensor, but we should have something there. So it makes me think that 1200 degrees is actually the other end of the spectrum. The strategy is not going like to -40, but or around -40, but it goes high. So how can I find out the resistance to check the wiring there? Right, so I found another sensor here. It seems to be exactly the same. Going to just after the cat there, I don't know if you can see it. It seems to be the same or very similar. So I'm just gonna check the resistance here just to get some figures. So what we have here. All right, so we have 213 ohms for the sensor, and the other one we just have it open. Let's get the GK box out. 213, something around that. Well, I have the GK box set for about 215 ohms. Let's see what happens here. Connect it up. All right, there we go, connected, and we have change. 20 degrees Celsius, which is about right, is about what we have now. Show you that. So there you go, 20 degrees. So that changed. So that means our wiring is good. Motor is good. I checked the pin, the connector here seems to be all good. So with a new sensor, we should sort this problem out. We should be okay. Alright, so this is the ABS pump here. There's one plug that is unplugged there, don't know where that goes to. Seems to be for the windscreen jets heater or something. I don't know, maybe it's heated. But anyway, let me remove this plug. I just want to see the condition of it. And then we can test all the powers and grounds. And we can also check the brake wear sensor. Right. Well, the plug itself seems to be okay. No green crusties. And also the other side of the ABS pump is good. I don't see anything bent or any corrosion or anything. Pin 1 and 25, we should have power. Which we do. That's pin 25. Pin 1 also have power. And then we should have one more pin. Let me have a look. Pin 32. Right. I think I want the right one in there. Right, so no power. I think for this one the ignition needs to be on. I'll put the ignition on. Did it light up? No. Light up. Yep, that's good. Oh, let's test the ground now. These ones are not 1 in 4, but it should be the back ones, I reckon. There you go. Good ground. The other pin. Good ground also. And they are 38 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 and 38. So the diagram shows wrong. Yeah, the diagram shows 1 in 4, but it's 13 and 38 in this case. All right, so we have all good powers, all good grounds. Well, I think we're gonna test next, which is pretty easy, is that brake wear sensor, because I can see here is just 2 wires. So pin 10 and 29. And I was told the brake wear sensor was replaced, and still no good. It's really hard to see these plugs. All right, so one pin 10, and the first one should be 29, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there we go. We have continuity, no resistance. So that sensor is good. That sense is good. I've disconnected it. Let's see if I can disconnect it just in case. Right, so I will disconnect it just in case, because I found some pins. That were incorrect there, so just to make sure we are in the right place. So as you can see, yeah, the sensor looks quite new. There you go. So we are testing the brake wear sensor. So if I put it in again, you can hear the beep. So there you go, that sensor is good. Turn this off. Okay. Let's turn the ignition off, and the ignition is off. Right guys, so at this point I'm ready to make the call. So we test powers and grounds. All good. The fault for the ESP that is complaining, the current communication with the heart rate sensor seems to be very specific, being an internal current communication problem. And because we have a good brake pad wear sensor and the pump is not able to see it, it only points out that the pump is knackered basically. So we're gonna have to replace that. So I'm ready to make the call. I'm gonna get a new pump or see what the customer wants to do, and get another temperature sensor for the GPF. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I haven't missed anything. And we fix this car. Let's see what happens. All right, so breakout special. I have a new ABS pump module for complete units. This is the part, exactly the same parts. A006-431-6712. Seems to be quite good nick. And we also have another temperature sensor. I checked the resistance here, is exactly the same like the other one that we tested. So it should be good. And we're gonna come into a part that are very uncomfortable when it comes to programming. I seem to like run into so many different procedures, even for the same car, but at different years, so it's very difficult. But what I did, I backed up the module, all modules, and it came up as ESP system or whatever, something like that, not required. So I believe we're gonna have a procedure on a scan tool to actually program this without, you know, needing to back up anything. So let's go ahead, replace them, and see what happens. Fingers crossed we get this car back on the road. Alright, so we have our GPF temperature sensor in, new ABS pump module, the whole assembly in. Filled up the reservoir there. I could probably test it without connecting everything up, but I just decided to do this way. So let's see what procedure we're gonna have to follow now. I just hope I don't see that brake wear sensor message. It was there straight away. At least that'll be good. Alright, so that is okay. Let's plug this contour again. Well, let's have a look at that figure for the GPF now. And there we go, 18 degrees. Lovely. So that's one thing ticked off the list. Now we have to go to chassis, I believe. Yeah, ESP program, 3 codes. I run the road test. Voltage at terminal itself is too low. Okay. Take a picture of that. Run the road test. It doesn't say anything about oh, they are stored in current event, so I'm gonna clear that. I took a picture of that, so I'm gonna clear it. Switch the ignition off. 10 seconds. Back on. Yep. Battery is a little bit low. Run the road test. Okay, let's see what we have. Control units, adaptations. So road test is there. So I'm gonna have to, I think I'm gonna have to bleed this system first, aren't I? Let's see what this road test asks for. No further parked in a flat ground. After performing this operation, the procedure shall be carried out. No, I'm not gonna run that now because I'm gonna have to drive, haven't I? Right, let me bleed the brakes and everything else, and then we can do this procedure. Right, so one broken bleeding nipple later, we are back where we left. So we have to run that test. Right, road test. After performing this operation on the vehicle, the procedure shall be carried out. You'll be guided through the following steps. Teaching the component to be 24, 15, yard, rate, lateral, longitudinal acceleration sensor, run the road tests. Is the procedure to be run now? Yes. Turn off the ignition. Okay. Turn on the ignition. Okay. Move the steering wheel to straight ahead. Well, it is straight ahead. Just really nice and straight. There it goes, 0. And press F3. End the diagnosis, start the engine. Well, these instructions here, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this on the road. I should have been in a car park somewhere. But we'll follow this procedure. If it doesn't work, we park somewhere and do this procedure again. Let me lock it up, because it's saying here after a short distance start cornering left and right, steering wheel lock greater than degrees, drive a quarter of a circle. So on the road that's going to be very, very difficult. Let me lock it up and then we can find a car park or something.
Right, so it's been a couple of days now. I finally managed to do the procedure, the calibration procedure. Obviously I hooked a scan tool to do it, and when I first started I had the scan tool connected to the module, so there was a loss of communication there. So managed to do the calibration very easy. To be honest, I managed to make the light goes out just driving on the road. Just press the pedal first a couple times and held for 2 seconds, then left to right, and then I did the turn. All the lights gone out, all good. Now I've got some good news and some bad news for you. And let me put the engine on, and you're probably gonna realize straight away, and I have no idea what's happening, but no engine lights on anymore. ESP light is not coming on anymore. I'm gonna take the car for a drive, you see it, but the brake pad wear warning is still there. I just can't get this thing to go away. And let me take the car for a drive now. You see the light's not gonna it's not gonna show up. I'm gonna record on the GoPro. Split and drive, innit? Automatic. Right, here we are. Blaming parking sensors. So you can probably see on the dash, you're gonna go over 10 miles an hour. Just gonna drive normal. No more ESP light. And I've driven the car for a good 20 minutes just to make sure it's not gonna come back. And I hope you guys can see it. I'm gonna go around the block, put my foot down, any time of the when the ESP light when we had the ESP light coming on before, the ESP light would come on, I think when it got to above 10 miles an hour. So now no lights whatsoever. Let me stop here before getting to the garage again. But again, stop the car. As you can see, nothing, no ESP lights on, no engine lights on, it's all good. And I've driven the car for a good, I would say nearly half an hour, to be fair. And it's perfect apart from the brake pad warning, which I cannot understand what's going on. The only thing left for me to do before I blame the ABS module again is to actually deep in plug and just check for pin fitment, drag, whatever. That's the only thing left, really. So I think that's what I'm going to do next before I'll blame this pump again, you know. All right, so here we go. This is my last try here. If it's not this, if it's not pin fitment, I don't know what else to blame. I actually checked all the wheels just to make sure there was no other pad wear sensor anywhere. I removed the actual plug from the pad wear sensor on the right front, and again that was all good, and it's literally a straight connection to here. So that's crazy. And the owner of the car told me this happened after a tire change. That's, I don't know, doesn't sound right. Doesn't sound right to me. Right, how do you take this cover off? How? Right, top is undone, bottom is undone. Right, so I believe that was 10 and 29, wasn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's this brown wire here. We get pliers. There's so many wires, it's difficult to reach. I think there's another locking here.
It's a white tab. Okay, the tab is away now. I'll be very, very surprised if there's any problem here, to be honest with you. But there you go. Yeah, there was a white tab in there. It holds the pin. Just gonna do a drag test with the other pump. To be honest with you, I would say it could be a little bit tighter. Oh, it's coming. Yeah. There you go. I have to say, it looks a little bit open to me as well. Right, so I squashed 2 pins that I had with the other pump, with the other plug, and I joined them together here just to make a test before I just test it before I mess with the other ones, the original one from the car. Right, I heard it clicking. Right, so I think that's in. 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, is in. And that is the plug that goes over the top. Get out of the way. Right, got it. Plug it in and cross our fingers now. Right, it's in. Let's see what happens. Any change? No change. So there you go. So that's our answer. Right, so a bit of a shame. I don't know what else I can do with this. I've checked everything from the wheel to the pump, visually inspect all the harness, and this last test, although I feel like there is drag with the respective pins for the powered warning, all I did here is a pretty simple circuit, and I wish I could show you the wiring diagram. I'm not going to show you, but it's basically open or short circuits. Open circuits, the warning comes on. Short circuits is all good. So I've got the old pump here, and all I did, the second-hand pump replacement came with the plug. So all I did, I got two pins from this pump. I checked, had a good drag, and I shorted them together, put it back in the plug, and that eliminates any other possible problem with the wiring. I checked, it was short to ground, short to positive, all good. And it's a bit of a strange one. I mean, very, very peculiar to have a second-hand pump and then have the same issue. And the communication from here, I mean, this pump can see that the pad wear sensor is on, and the communication from here to the cluster is through communication, CON high and CON low. So I don't know, I have to blame the pump again, which is, well, I don't know. Let me show you the faults that we have here. So chassis, let me put the ignition on again. So let me just show you there's no other faults regarding the yard rate sensor anymore. And that is all hunky-dory. So there you go. No faults detected. And then let me go to the engine and I'll show you that there's no more problem with the GPF temperature sensor, and the engine light is not on anymore. So at least we managed to fix a couple things. So there you go, no faults detected, and there were hard faults. I'm gonna go ahead also and show you the instrument cluster, and it's not here, and there's no faults in the instrument cluster either. And the only other faults in this car now, so there we go, the only other fault in this car now is within the air conditioning, I believe. Pressure sensor, air conditioning pressure sensor, short to ground or open, I believe. So there you go, refrigerant pressure sensor, short circuit or open circuit. So mule on, current. I don't see any mule on, but it's current, and I believe that is what keeps the fan running. I could be wrong, but I think that's what's keeping the fan running when the car's on. And again, I checked everywhere to see if there's any procedure for the brake pad wear sensor to be reset. I just can't call it this one. I looked everywhere, you know, quite a few wiring diagrams I went through, GD, TSB. I've been everywhere. I used the star machine to get any information about the system, nothing. So unfortunately, I will find the girl tomorrow, see if she wants to get another pump, because I can't blame anything else. And we see what she wants to do. But I'll put this video out because I've got to do a video this week, and this is going to be the video. Thanks very much for watching. Sorry that not everything's fixed, but very likely we're going to need another pump. Right, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. If you have any comments, just leave it below, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.